ball knocked loose. White dive on it.
This is twice now the Celtics have been first to the floor. They try to save with Horford. Unbelievable.
Boston first to the floor. So good.
Brown fakes, fires up the three. Bang! Tatum dives on the floor. Everybody dives. Jaylen Brown with the flush. Blocked by Porzingis. He's doing it all. Tatum spinning, driving, layup. Washington drives. Blocked by White. Oh, what a block from Derek White.
The Boston Celtics take two in mighty, mighty Charlotte, packed full of Celtics fans. They are now 6-1, 113, 103. It's me and Jake for first to the floor. Jake, how's it going, buddy?
I know, grueling couple of days down in Charlotte. Some of the you know when you go down to Charlotte, you're getting a bloodbath.
They're gonna bring it.
Exactly. Throw out the records. You don't know what you're gonna get when you see Charlotte and Boston go head to head. I think we kind of saw what we expected. Some imperfect, not a ton of defense from Charlotte. Some fun storylines that we'll get into. But as expected, 2-0 going down to Charlotte and on to Atlanta.
Yeah, I mean, like, generally, I will say Charles Lee has something cooking down in Charlotte. I think they looked a lot more. They had some pride, which I'm not sure is something you could say about the Charlotte Hornets the last few years. And they're like a dangerous offensive team. I think it goes to show that the Celtics were kind of trying on defense in that second game to hold them to 103. But yeah, man, like their defense is just a disaster, and especially without Mark Williams, there's like nothing you can do. Like the last 5 minutes of that second game was just like, come over here, LaMelo, it's my turn, buddy. And they just ripped through. But you guys hit it on late night after the first game. But so we won't belabor too much on the first game, but just ultimately, like, where are you on game two, especially? With how we looked, what are you thinking? You know, Jaylen didn't play. It's the first time this season he's missed a game.
Yeah, we'll talk about Jaylen in a second. But yeah, look, I think the story is just Luke Cornett and Neemias Queta, man. Like coming into the season, we were, I think, confident in the backup bigs and the depth, especially in the regular season. And like this stretch of the season in particular, Adam Silver did hook us up in that the first 20 games of the season are like, kind of light. You know, obviously we had the Knicks up first, but Wizards, Pistons, we get the Hornets twice, we get Charlotte, we got the Nets next weekend. Like that's exactly why we feel confident, and you know, Luke Cornett and Queta can carry you through a regular season when 50% of the games are going to be against opponents that you can kind of handle. There aren't going to be a ton of teams that you're like, oh my God, we're getting blown off the court because Luke Cornett and Neemias Queta can't play. There's definitely moments where it's like, oh man, I wish Al Horford had unlimited fountain of youth access, and we want to like dip in. We want to dip into the 30-minute mark, and I wish that Porzingis was out there because, of course, like there's a reason these guys are on minimums. But for what they're giving you, what Brad Stevens has built with his $6 million, you know, when you get those like player. Like charts is like you've got $15 to design a team, and like the top line is like $15, and it's like Larry Bird and MJ, and at the bottom you bargain hunt. That's what Brad Stevens has done here. He's got this incredible team, and he's just absolutely nailed those margin moves, and at the big man position are really important, obviously between Horford's age and Porzingis' health, and that's why we were confident coming in. But it's nice to see it. We were confident coming in, and maybe something we didn't expect was the Queta over Tillman thing. But Luke Cornett, we were really confident in. And look, the Hornets, as you said, no Mark Williams?
Mark,
yeah. I was like, Nick Richards is the...
or Nick Richards. He didn't play either last game. Yeah.
And he's not awesome, but like they literally didn't have a big man yesterday. And so in games like that, you better play well, Luke Cornett. But like he did. So we're happy to see it.
Yeah, and I thought Charles Lee was kind of an interesting adjustment from game one to game two. I don't know if I love the back-to-back same opponent games, But it is kind of cool because you kind of see adjustments from the first game to the second game. Like, they didn't really double Tatum or anybody that entire first game, and Tatum especially had a really nice game. Jaylen had a really nice second half. But then they were like throwing doubles, and I wonder if it's like, okay, we don't have any rim protection, so we got to cause turnovers and like make them hit Luke Cornett on the short roll or rolling to the rim and make Luke Cornett punish us. And he did repeatedly for I think his career high. So it was kind of a cool to see like that adjustment be made from Charles Lee. And like, I don't know if it's the smartest adjustment. I think this version of the Celtics, you just absolutely, you can't double them. Like they're just too unselfish. They're too smart, and everybody on the court can punish you in their own ways. And yeah, Luke had 22. Or I'm sorry, Luke had what?
Was it 19?
19.
I think
19,
it was. Yeah. 19 points, 6 for 6 from the field. He's nails from the free throw line, 7 for 7. And we were saying like he has to look at the rim. Like the short roll stuff only works if he's also a threat looking at the rim. And he did. Yeah, man. I wonder if teams are going to figure it out at one point. Like there's no right answer. Like playing Tatum or Jaylen in single coverage and not sending, especially Tatum, and not sending a lot of help when you've got players like LaMelo Ball and Trey Mann, and like the sealiest of seal teams is like the Hornets. But that's true of every team. Like there's just always going to be a pressure point unless you're like the Celtics or one of these like very, very, like there's very few teams that don't have pressure points that you can go at. And so do you just let Tatum go one-on-one? But I think that honestly might be a better choice because swing basketball with the Celtics, when half of those shots end up in Peyton Pritchard, Sam Hauser, especially Drew Holiday and Derek White catch and shoot threes. I tweeted yesterday, like, I've never felt more confident than when Derek White and Drew Holiday have wide open catch and shoot corner threes. Like on the season, I think I was looking at them before. They're both above 45% on catch and shoot threes this year, and that includes like corners and above the break. Like you can't leave those guys open. So I'd much rather Tatum, even if he is shooting really well at the rim, it's like make him do it, or like make him do something. Like letting the Celtics get you in rotation, it's a tricky place for defenses to be, but I can't see how that's a good option.
Yeah, but the problem, especially with a team like Charlotte, is like if Tatum just gets the switch on LaMelo, and then if you don't send help, it's just going to be layups. So you're basically just praying that they miss open threes, and they don't do that very often. So yeah, like that's the answer is like try. I'm not even sure if there's really a team with the personnel to just be like, let's switch what we can. Maybe we drop if it's a 1-5 pick and roll, but other than that, switch 1 through 4 because it's not the Knicks. Because
it's supposed to be kind of the Knicks, but it can't.
It's supposed to be, the Microsoft Zune Celtics. Like Brunson is not that guy.
No,
and Cat. I mean, we were literally laughing at Cat defensive highlights like a week ago, or lowlights, I guess I should say. So but I will say, like, I come out of that with kind of a respect of Charlotte, and like LaMelo Ball, like he hurt us in, like we were playing a lot of drop with Luke, and you just can't do that against him. And then we were just like switching Luke and Nemi onto him
and Al,
and Al, and like Keita. I've been paying really close attention to Keita recently since I got back from Portugal for some reason. I don't know why, but he did okay like a couple times. He got cooked a couple times, but there was one possession, especially like he knocked the ball loose from LaMelo. I think it ended in a shot clock violation or offensive foul, I think is what happened after that. So like, that's fine, man. You just got to muck it up. Just make it difficult. He's going to make shots. He's going to get by you. But the fact that like he didn't look completely helpless out there, I think is a really big development for Keita. I don't trust him to switch all the time or a lot, but it's like, there's 7 seconds left on the shot clock. We don't want to concede a wide open pull up if we play drop against LaMelo. Switch onto him, do your best. And like Keita generally, Luke less so, but Keita generally was like okay-ish at that, which is way better than I expect out of him.
Yeah, dude. And LaMelo is a tough cover. Like,
yeah, dude.
What a interesting. I don't know if interesting is the right word, but like, they're intriguing and frustrating. Like, as Charles Lee's got something, like they've got some talent, but man, trying to coach a LaMelo, Trey Man, Miles Bridges, like this.
That's Curry.
It's hard to lump these guys in for a variety of reasons. Like you got like the maturity stuff with LaMelo, the being a piece of shit Miles Bridges situation, just being bad defenders. You got the Grant Williams, like we kind of all don't really like this guy piece of things, but there is definitely some talent there. And LaMelo obviously is the head of the spear there because, man, the shot making from that dude is some of the most absurd stuff in the league. Like the one-legged 30-foot like fading to the left, like split-second release stuff, and just nothing but the bottom is so absurd. I'm not sure he's a serious player, but he makes for some crazy shot making. The switchability, yeah, I was impressed. It doesn't feel like something that Joe wants to go to. I'm not sure why. Outside of the switching, yes, but he wants to go big, and I'm not sure if going big is like a safe move for the margins. You're obviously going to be able to rebound a bit better. That would have been a really good team to try the Tatum at the 5 stuff. Obviously, a little bit more difficult without Jaylen because like I feel like you can kind of patch together the big man stuff by having your 2 giant wings do a lot of that work, and so without Jaylen, you're not really quite able to do it. But it just does not seem like something that Joe wants to go to is Tatum at the 5 at all. So
No,
maybe in a couple of years.
Yeah, and like I think partially without JB, yeah, you're right. I think it's roster related because like we've invested a lot of bench spots into centers. We have to. It makes sense. It's good roster building. But when one of the wings, especially the heavy minute wings, is out, you feel it because it's all of a sudden it's Jordan Walsh, who we'll get to, and was like really good for the most part.
Okay.
But well, not really good, but like compared to me expecting nothing,
Sure.
I thought he had some nice moments. But but like, does it make sense to try if you're experimenting with Tatum at the 5? It's because you think you might need to deploy it in the playoffs. And does it make sense to experiment with Jordan Walsh being one of the 5 guys? Maybe, but I could see the argument where it's like, why bother?
Yeah.
He's never going to see the floor in meaningful minutes this year, at least in the playoffs.
But then that goes back to the Cornet Tillman double bigs lineup,
right?
Like,
Yeah.
It's like,
well, I
is
think
that something?
Joe might have thought that could have worked. I don't know. I think he might have.
Yeah. Well, he was wrong so far, at least.
Yeah, very, very fucking wrong. Somebody, I think it was Derek in the chat here, says, is the JB injury serious or what? We might as well talk about that. So Jaylen told he's having a second MRI maybe. Jaylen told the Boston Globe the hip flexor injury has been lingering for a few weeks, which is like terrifying. He says, I got an MRI in training camp and it's been back and forth since then. Brown said Friday, I think I extended it a little bit more. He did like have that weird stumble on the ground. It's already been giving me some trouble and I'm going to have to get another MRI and go from there. So like not ideal. Where are you on the JB injury? Oh, here's Ben's got us loaded up here.
There we go. Lingering hip flexor issue keeps Jaylen Brown out for Celtics on Saturday. Obviously not good. I think it's hard to get to, for me, it's like, I'm not concerned long-term. I think it's early enough in the I don't like that he's been playing through it, really. I'm not sure what the point of that is.
There's no point. Yeah.
Yeah. Like I know Jaylen was like, I don't like missing games. And I really appreciate that. And it's what makes him and Tatum unique as superstars and valuable. But like, this is not the goal. I'm really happy that you value being there for the team and being there for the fans and being there early in the season. But there's no reason for you to be playing through an injury in the first week of November or the last week of October. Let's just get this thing right. We don't know exactly what it is right now, but if it's hip flexors, like we got Matt, we got the doctors out, and I'm not calling you out, Matt, you could be a doctor. Who knows? Yeah. But hip flexors don't heal easily. A strain is actually a partial tear. Well, every strain is a tear. Like essentially, that's just how these injuries work. It's just like grades of tears. Even when you go to the gym, you're tearing your muscles. That's kind of how exercise works. Sit him down, get it right, come back. This is not. I like that it's not something we've heard of before when it comes to Jaylen. He had those hamstring injuries a couple years ago. We've never had hip flexor injuries. it was diagnosed with hip tendonitis a while ago, and it it's one of those things you can play through. It's just sore, and it's just like an overuse injury. Maybe he went a little too hard with the underwater workouts or something like that. Yeah, I don't think it'll take someone like Jaylen especially long to get back to full health for something like this, considering he was actually able to play. Like, we got people saying he could be out for 4 weeks. That wouldn't stun me. It wouldn't stun me, but it wouldn't be. I'm not worried about it like being something that we have to worry about resurfacing. Put him on ice until he is 100%. There's no reason for him to come back before that.
Yeah, sit him out. If he needs to be out 2 weeks, sit him out 3 weeks. Like, there's just absolutely no reason to be messing around with Jaylen Brown's health at this point. Yeah, and like, I wonder if that kind of explains his jumper being kind of off, at least in the early season, because like, the base is so important for consistency in your jump shot. And if your hip's hurting you and you're just a little off balance, maybe that could explain it. It's probably just small sample size stuff. But yeah, I'm not worried really. As my light turns off, but also I'm worried. You know what I mean?
Sure.
Like, anytime one of our big guys is injured, like, even if it's not a big deal, it feels kind of like a big deal to me. So I guess we'll just kind of wait and see what the second MRI says. But if it's just a strain, like, whatever, man, like, get healthy. We'll be fine. Jordan Walsh will step in, give us 25, 30 points a night. So we'll be good. Yeah, just replaces his production. So I'm not too worried about, and rest up. And like you said, we do not have a tough schedule in the early going. So this is the time to get hurt and rest and get right.
It's also quietly Tatum agenda positive because KP's out. Now JB's out. Someone pointed out in the playback yesterday that the Celtics were 12-0 without Jaylen last season. Yeah. And now they are 1-0 without Jaylen this season. Go back and look at those games, though. Not a single good team on maybe one, and I think it was Philly, and they probably didn't have their guys because they never have their guys. So I don't think there's anything to read. Like, this team is better with Jaylen Brown. There's no doubt about it. I did see the narrative forming in the first half of the Hornets game when the Celtics offense was humming and they were like looking like they were about to build a 50-point lead until they didn't again. I was like, oh, here we go. The offense is clicking, it's moving. Derek White's got the ball in his hands. Decisions are being made a little bit faster. But no, the team's definitely better with Jaylen Brown. I think it explains why his finishing has been so bad at the rim. Yeah. Like, his field goal percentage on drives, I was looking at before, I think it was in low 40s or in the 30s, which for Jaylen is like awful. It's awful for anybody. So it explains why he hasn't been playing very well, I would say, outside of his free throw percentage.
Which is bizarre. Of course, his free throws are good when he's not looking right and not healthy. But
I will say it can with some spin zone. Sometimes an injury can be good for the development of the rest of the team. Like, this does mean we're going to see more Pritchard, more Hauser, and more Walsh. Maybe we go Walsh next here.
Yeah,
because now there's just an open slot now for perimeter guys, and Joe has wanted to lean onto the double big stuff, which I don't love personally, but it does just open up minutes for Pritchard's playing like 30 minutes a night at the moment now, which has been awesome to see. Great for his 6th Man of the Year case. But yeah, it's going to open minutes for Jordan Walsh, who has been totally fine, which is like all I could hope for, really. Like, I've wanted Jordan Walsh minutes for so long, and now that I'm getting them, I'm like, I don't know. I'm not sure he's ready for them. Come on.
My little boy's going to college already?
Yeah,
oh, my
exactly.
God. We were bringing you home from the hospital, and now we're packing your room?
He's skipping grades. I'm like, oh, but he's only 16. He's not sure he's ready.
Sure? Yeah, he's not mature enough yet. Yeah. Sure, he's smart. Sure, he has the athletic tools and a crazy wingspan, but... So one man led the Celtics in net rating in the 2 games in Charlotte. That man's name is Jordan Walsh, plus 20.2 points per 100 possessions, better than the Hornets with Jordan Walsh on the court. Go. No big deal.
Hang another banner.
That's right. Get the Photoshop ready, Ben. Let's go. So I was like really hyper focusing in on his defense because I think I've been pretty critical of it, at least from the preseason. And I thought he has started to look less Neesmithy out there, less hectic. and he did a good, decent job of kind of staying and keeping LaMelo in front of him a few times, which is like, there's not many guys more difficult to cover one-on-one than LaMelo. I almost called him LaMelo Anthony, but LaMelo Ball. And like LaMelo made a really tough floater on him, but that's fine, man. Like, you're forcing him to take a 10-foot floater. Like, that's good. That's solid. I think, to your point, it's like, he's basically just sitting in the corner on offense. And it's like, is he going to get one of his 2 threes to go in this game? No. Okay. That's fine. And he only recorded a steal. That was it in the second game. But overall, man, like, what we want to see from Jordan Walsh is, like, he's not unplayably bad. That is progress. That's what we want. Like, can we give this guy 10 minutes and it's fine? And I feel like we kind of are slowly getting our answer that yes, it's fine. He's fine right now.
Yes, I think fine's a good word for it. And the job of a role player on the Celtics, that is all you need. You honestly don't even need that much for the team to still be good. Like, you just need to be not a complete disaster, and things are going to be fine, especially if you're playing like 10 minutes a game. I am hopeful that as he gets a little more comfortable, he's going to get a little more confident, because I think that he has, obviously, like, there's been moments where he's been really aggressive, just like attacking closeouts and trying to yam on dudes. I'm excited there's going to be a game where he plays a few extra minutes, he gets an offensive rebound, he attacks the closeout, makes a good pass, and it's like that when you're playing 2K My Player, where every time you just make one positive play, your play just gets a little bit better.
B-minus. Yeah.
B-minus. It's like, oh, there we go. Nice kick ahead pass that leads to, good like, screen. Adjacent to, good screen and a kick to Hauser in the corner. And all of a sudden it's just like, oh, you get another high five from Al Horford, who looks you directly in the eyes, and you're like, oh my goodness. This is I'm just brimming. And then it's going to be he's going to fake the pass to the corner, and the defense is going to bite because he hasn't, done anything aggressive all night long. And he's going to take 2 dribbles, and he's just going to yam on, like, Nick Claxton or something like that. And it's going to be awesome. So I'm manifesting it. It's going to happen. But I think that's going to be the thing that, like, is next, because shoot the open threes. I think getting anywhere between 32 and 35% is kind of what we're hoping for. I mean, Brissett shot 27% last year, and that's kind of fine. It's like, can that confidence just grow a little bit more as time goes on?
Yeah, and it's a great point, and I think the guy who I point to on the Celtics who's done that is Sam Hauser. Now, Hauser has a different baseline skill set that he came in with the NBA. It was like, all I can do is shoot. But he's slowly starting to, like, grow his game, where it's like, okay, now that everyone knows I can shoot, then I can work these counters off it. Or if I drive a closeout and take 2 dribbles, this pass is going to be open. And then you just slowly build and build on that until your skill set makes a lot of sense and it's a lot more varied. And, like, the problem with Walshy offensively is, like, having shooting as your skill set, like, the base thing you do is, like, kind of a cheat code. but like, he's smart, and the game clearly has slowed down for him. And I think that's the biggest takeaway for me, is, like, he doesn't just look maniacally rushed at all times anymore. And even if, like, all we get is 10 minutes here and there, that's still a pretty good opportunity to kind of build your skill set and build your confidence in how you're playing, and realize what you can and cannot do on an NBA court. So we're still Team Walshy. I think,
it's going great, dude. Hit the two threes the other night. Like, we got some big moments. We got the offensive rebound in the Bucks game that was huge, and he drew the offensive drew the foul down that end as well. The 2 threes in the first Charlotte game, and then the defense tonight. It's like, can we pick up these little pieces? Look, the bar is low, dude. He's a 38th overall pick. He's 20 years old. And we joked about, like, being scared that he's getting minutes right now. Like, even though I really wanted them, I did not expect him to really play. Like, coming into the preseason after Summer League, I was like, look, 1, it probably never happens. That's just kind of how it works. But 2, I wouldn't expect it to happen this year, because he's still so young and he just hasn't gotten that many minutes. But this is how you develop guys, and it's a freaking luxury to be able to stack these wins, go 6-1. And it's like, in 40 games, is Jordan Walsh, like, actually like someone you want to get in there, as opposed to, like, let's hope these minutes are just fine. And that's just huge long term for this team.
Yeah, for sure. And like he's locked up on a ridiculously cheap contract for 2 more years after this one. So if you can get him to decent role player by the end of this season, that's absurdly valuable for a team that is in total luxury tax hell. And it's important to remember, he is 4 years younger than Baylor Shireman right now. 4 years. So like he's got a lot of room to grow. He's got the athletic tools and the wingspan to like really, to have an interesting ceiling as a role player too. So we'll see. But I think we should talk about Tatum, but we probably should get in.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Jake.
I was just going to say we should do an ad read. Was that what you were going to say?
That's what I was going for. Yeah, I'm going to
Perfect.
hit a word from Game Time.
The wait is over. Celtics basketball is back, and Game Time is the best way to get your tickets to see the best team in the NBA. Game Time has tickets for all events, concerts and shows, not just sports. Game Time has a new feature called Game Time Picks that makes getting tickets to see your favorite team even easier. Game Time Picks filters out the fluff to show you only incredible deals on great seats, so you don't have to waste time searching through thousands of tickets. We used Game Time to get our tickets to Summer League, and it couldn't have been easier. You could go see the Bucks in TD Garden for as little as $77, or maybe you want to drive to Charlotte to watch Tatum drop 50 on the Hornets as per usual. That will only cost you $26 to get in the building. Game Time has a lowest price guarantee, or Game Time will credit you 110% of the difference. Game Time ticket coverage, your purchase is covered with the most flexible customer service policy in the ticketing industry. Take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time Picks. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code CLNS for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create your account and redeem code CLNS for $20 off. Download Game Time today. What time is it?
Game Time rocks. It's awesome. It's college basketball season about to start.
Let's go.
The Mountaineers got a new coach, and we have the projected 37th pick in the NBA draft. Tucker DeVries on our team. You want a Dalton Connect lookalike? This is your dude, man. He's good.
Okay.
He's going to be really good. So hopefully he becomes a Celtic as well, and I can just roll the fandom in. It'll be great. But yeah, Game Time, promo code CLNS.
It's good. You're already starting draft season. You already nailed the Jordan Walsh pick. The jersey's already basically going in the rafters, which is great. So people watching can't see that I like ran out of the screen while like that ad's running, but like I have like the football on like my living room to the right, and like it's been distracted me, so I ran to like shut my laptop, which connected to my like another screen, and that just moved the Commanders Giants game like to the screen, and so now it's like just a different game, but that's distracting me on another screen. So that's fine. I can keep an eye on my boy Malik Neighbors, even though I've seen the entire game already. But what's next for us, Spoonie?
All right, real quick, Matthew Souza, how do I watch the Maine Celtics? Last I knew, they stream live on YouTube. I don't know if that's still the case. Not YouTube TV, just regular old YouTube. Jason Tatum. The man is sick. He's got a bug. He's got an illness. That is the pull-up three. He was getting them up. He was launching them. So Ben's got our closest defender shot, the percentage of his shots that are tightly covered, open, and wide open. 27.6% tightly covered, 35% open, and 55% wide open, which to me is not a bad mix for someone like Tatum. I kind of expected tight to be a higher percentage of his shots. They did not go in these two games at all, really. So what are your thoughts on Tatum in sort of these two Charlotte games?
I'm torn on the Tatum thing a little bit at the moment because, like, on one hand, the Celtics have the best offense in the NBA by like a wide margin right now. Yeah. And he's leading the team.
And the best half-court offense.
He's leading the team in touches, time of possession. He's like just behind Jaylen in usage, which I didn't love coming into the second Charlotte game, but obviously that's going to flip now with Jaylen out. But he should be at the top of the list. So, and then if you filter out the Knicks game, which I'm gonna have a couple of stats in this segment about filtering out the Knicks game, which does count. Like the Knicks game counts. Like he played awesome in that game, and the team played awesome in that game. But it's just like the more recent sample size, and to also kind of like match up the eye test a little bit. But when you filter out the Knicks game, we are like tied for the second best offense, even without the Knicks game. So it's like, I don't love exactly what my body and mind and soul is watching in these last two games from Tatum, but like he's leading the team and they're like just putting up a shitload of points. So like, I can't be too mad. And there's also this balance of like, do I need him driving to the rim over and over again in the regular season? No. I just think if we can just turn down the difficulty level on your 3-point attempts by like 10%, dude, because you're taking the hardest possible shots. And in the especially yesterday, I feel like half his shots were all like 3 feet behind the 3-point line. It's like
with a hand in his face. Yeah.
You've never been a range shooter to begin with. Just be on the 3-point line. If we're going to take all these hard shots, like make them just a tiny bit easier for yourself, dude. And you're going to get exactly what you want. I get that you're trying to be this 3-point, legend back there, but you're kind of hamstringing. I think he's kind of hamstringing himself when he doesn't have to. I'm not even necessarily against him taking that many threes. I'd prefer it to be down to like 10 as opposed to 12 per game. So like he's taking 8.6 pull-up threes per game to start the year so far. Second only behind Luka, who's taking 9 per game, and he's shooting 35% on the pull-up threes. But if you filter out the Knicks game, he's down to 26%. So, but I know it's like ball go in, so it looks better. But that Knicks game, the looks were so much better than the looks that he's been taking, for especially the Pacers game up and the last 2 games, like the Isaiah Jackson one in like when they were tied with 30 seconds left, like fading away with a center in your face. Like the Grant Williams pull-up threes where you're 3 feet behind the line. Just tone it down a tiny bit, brother. You're not a coward if you go to the rim. It's okay.
Yeah. Quite the opposite, I'd argue, if you go to the ring. So I'm getting word from our producer that the numbers I rattled off were actually his percentages. So he's shooting 57% on wide open shots. Yes. Yeah, we should probably try and generate some more of those, Jason Tatum. But yeah, like we talked about it some last year too. Like, there's just no reason with the way this team is constructed for him to take that many shitty pull-up threes. There's just none. Like clearly it was personal with him and Grant on a few of those, like where he was like backing him out and going one-on-one. And it's like, I get it, but like just, it's not a smart thing to do basketball wise. Like it's just a really, really bad shot. And frankly, it sucks if you're playing with him to watch him do that. And it's like, well, shit, here we go again, man. We better get somebody under the hoop because he's probably airballing this one.
He's been airballing a few lately.
Yeah, man. So like, quit it. Just stop, man. Like, get a screen. If they play drop, just walk into it like you did against the Knicks. And if they switch it, blow fucking by the center. It's not that difficult. But to your point, I definitely don't want him driving 100 times a game. Like, he was getting his shit hacked in Charlotte, and I was like, oh, God, stop.
Yeah, more pull-ups.
Threes. Yeah. Like, he can't win. I know that. Yeah. I'm totally irrational. But, like, there was some really, really bad pull-ups, but I think, like, big picture-wise, he got to the line a ton, and some of those were technical fouls and the flagrant and stuff like that, but it was like, I'm either taking a horrible pull-up or I'm getting downhill, getting fouled, or making a play or finishing at the rim, which is like good. But it's just like trade 2 pull-ups for 2 drives a game. And like, this team is really going to take off. And to your point on the, like, we have the best offense. The best offense is 7 points per 100 better with Jason Tatum on the court. So like, what he's doing is not hijacking the offense. It's just kind of annoying because, like, he knows better. Like, he didn't really do this in the playoffs at all. But it's Charlotte. Get them up. Hope they go in and you can end the game without too much effort. Yeah. And I truly think that's his thinking.
The numbers with Tatum on the court versus Tatum off the court this year are like so absurd, and that's not just offense, that's overall defense. Like, so it's like you watch it and it's like, can you just settle it down? But at the same time, when Tatum's on the court this year, they have a net rating of 14.2. With him off the court, is 2.78. So it's like, I don't know, man. You just do it. You can do whatever you want. So
Yeah, right.
I don't, because I keep saying I think he's been our best defender, as well. Like he's just so good off ball. Like, and that's like relative. I think a lot of people's defense haven't been up to par this year. Like, so the thing that I would like, I hate that we're shitting on Tatum because like this doesn't work without him. And so that's why I just said you can kind of do whatever you want. We've got like the best, offense in the league right here. It's just jarring when you watch the playoff version of him where he's like driving to the rim like 13 times per game. He's driving 8 times per game. I had a look today, 8.6 times. He's shooting 58.6% on drives. That's like really, really good. And so of course you want to see him do that more, but it's fine. The piece that is not worrying. That's just kind of I think. Symptom of him not being incredibly locked in is the turnovers. I think he had 5 and 4 in the 2 Charlotte games. He was just kind of like getting a matchup, going real slow, kind of just surveying, and the defender's kind of able to load up on him, which is just kind of a flip from what we saw in the playoffs where he's just playing a lot faster. And again, I think that's a symptom of playing against Charlotte
on a back-to-back.
On a back-to-back and just being like, it's fine. Yes, like overall numbers are fine, but like last 6 games, excluding the Knicks game, 29, 8 rebounds, 3.7 assists, 2 steals, half a block, 3 turnovers, 58.4% true shooting. You add in the Knicks game, he's above 60. Like he's playing great. He's still like a top 5 player on the season. So that's what we're talking about.
Yeah, and I mean he was awesome in the first Charlotte game, I thought too.
Yeah.
I think he was 9 and 19. So it's not like he was super inefficient. In fact, thanks to the free throws, he was wildly efficient in both games, actually.
Yes.
I mean,
Thank you, Charles.
Yeah, right. He was over 60% true shooting in both games, and league average is 56-ish usually. So he's not been inefficient. It's just that the pull-up 3 is not going down right now.
I was gonna say he's the one thing, and like is why you want to see him go downhill more. He's shooting 66.7% from 2-point range this year, which is like so far and away would be his career high. Like the next closest is 55.8 2 years ago. I think that probably comes down a bit. But in that second Charlotte game, he only missed 1 2-point shot. So it's like, that's why it can be frustrating to watch a little bit because he's been so unreal inside the arc. But again, best offense in the league, 6 and 1.
Right, exactly. And if you include isolations with passes, last I checked on Synergy, he was like 4th in the league in isolation points per possession. So it's not a problem. He's fine. It's good.
He's fine.
Just maybe turn down 2 of those a game, buddy, for my safety.
Please.
Real quick, I think we kind of touched on Pritchard. Probably bears repeating that Pritchard is just on a fucking heater, and it is so fun to watch this dude. Snuck in with an offensive rebound too at one point last night. And like when he's confident, some of the shots he takes are absurd. That's one dude I'm like, go ahead, shoot 5 feet behind the line because it's going down. Another 6 of 12 from 3, 8 of 15 overall. So this dude is awesome. What a draft pick by Danny Ainge, man.
Yeah.
Like it's unreal how good he's become.
Dude, he's making the case. I think he's the favorite now for 6th man of the year, which is awesome. So he's playing 28 minutes a game. He's essentially doing what I thought Hauser was going to do coming into the season, where I was like, one of these guys, Hauser's going to be playing 28 minutes a game. He's going to be averaging like 15 points a game. The rebounds are going to go up, and he's going to take this next step forward. Part of it has obviously been Hauser has been injured, but Pritchard, man, he is shooting 44% from 3 on 9.4 attempts. Which for a dude that's only playing, 28 minutes a game, so per 36, he's getting up 12 threes a game. He's getting up more threes than Jason Tatum, which is, as we've been saying, hard to do. And So he, and like, but dude, I want it, man. And he's been due for an elite 3-point shooting year. He is that type of shooter. And to see it kind of come to fruition early in the season here, yeah, man, incredible contract, incredible draft pick, just like real value, dude. Like he's, defensively, he's been fine. Like there's obviously the physical limitations, couple of tough matchups, like a little, like him versus Trey Mann. Trey Mann, really good, man. It's good to see him.
I love Trey Mann.
Yeah.
I absolutely love Trey Mann. He is like, he would have been the best player on a really shitty team in the early 2000s, and everyone would have thought he's way better than he actually is. But see him, like, he's got the baggy shorts, he's got like the head, he's got like the stuff on his arms, like the sweat stuff. He is like straight out of 2004. I absolutely love that dude. But yeah, him and Pritchard, I think it was like getting a little personal with those two because they were definitely going at each other. Real quick, Pritchard, isolations, including passes on synergy, minimum 20 possessions. He's 13th most efficient isolation player in the league. Yeah, not bad. Like, the dude can play, and he is not just a 3-point shooter anymore. Like, when he gets downhill, like, I fully expect him to finish now. So he's been awesome. We're already 40 minutes in, and we got some stuff to get to. So
I know.
We should probably move on unless you got any final thoughts on Charlotte, Jake.
Oh, we just got to hit we just got to last comments on Grant Williams, I think, because I feel like we haven't gotten your thoughts on the whole Grant Williams situation. Because so I know you have the floor here, the Grant Williams Bowl.
So I guess like I'm not a huge fan of, like, this was so dumb. Grant is an idiot. Like, that him trying to say it was not intentional that he tackled Jason Tatum was absolutely absurd. I know we have the video. We'll probably just run it now and then I can jump back in here. But yeah, this is the post game where Grant is trying to dap everybody up, and the Celtics are a bit.
Thank you for coming and supporting your Hornets at Spectrum. But really, we want to thank you for coming out tonight on this Saturday night to support your Charlotte Hornets. Yes, I would like to see all of you November 6th.
So, yeah, there is no love lost, dude. Like, those cold, like, business handshakes.
Who handshakes? These guys don't handshake anybody.
No, I've never seen anyone give a handshake on an NBA court. And it's like, you're like, well, Hauser seems like the handshake type. No, because then he daps up Charles Lee like 2 seconds afterwards and gives him a hug. So, like, Grant Williams is officially on the list. Welcome to the Kyrie LeBron list, buddy.
Oh,
because you are on it now.
He's got to be at the bottom of the list, though. That's
the list. He's okay. How about this? He's on probation. You're in a probationary period to make the list. We'll see how the next game against Charlotte goes. But, like, what is he, like, trying to accomplish by being like this? Do you think it's just like his emotions get the best of him because he's like, I should have a ring with these guys and they didn't want me? Like, I just don't get it.
No, he is the cringe guy. He's the guy he's just the guy that
Elon
everyone
Musk.
is like, it's like, there's a guy in the friendship group that's on the fringe and you're just like, yeah, look, we're nice enough where we're not going to excommunicate this guy. That's just not the type of people we are. But, like, if that person does cross a line, and that person often does cross a line, and I truly think Grant just thinks he's doing what's best for he's trying to be liked or trying to do what people want him to do. Like, he's like being an irritant because he thinks that people think that irritants are good, but he doesn't know how to be an irritant. He's just like, and because he's not tough necessarily, he's just annoying. Man, that video, like, I when rewatching it, that's what's so telling. You just contrast how Hauser and Cornette interact with Grant and how they interact with everybody else. Cornette might even be even more telling because Cornette is the nicest person in the world. And he, like, barely even looks at Grant and then turns around and, like, hugs, I'm guessing was another assistant on the Celtics staff that went with Charles Lee, and just, like, spends the next 10 seconds, like, chatting to him. Look at Derek White's, like, hugging a dude that they're interacting, and Grant is just getting, like, a straight up, like, Key and Peele handshake, dude. It is just brutal.
Well, and, like, he's, like, looking around for people to interact with at one point, too, where he's
so
like,
bad.
will anyone come say hi to me? It, like, feels like me at a high school dance. Like, anyone willing to speak to me? And then he sees Sam and Luke, and they're just like, hello, sir. Excellent game. Have a good day. It's brutal. I like, part of me almost feels bad for him, but then I think back
How
to
can
him
you?
dump trucking Jason Tatum and, like, being extraordinarily physical and, like, I'm not, like, kind of dirty frankly. Like
It was incredibly dirty.
Yeah, he's like pulling dirty shit, man, and like that is not cool. You want to play hard, like someone goes to the rim and you go to hit, like swat the ball and you get a decent piece of them, whatever. But this is Miami Heat shit, and we don't do Miami Heat shit here, especially not on this podcast.
Dude, he got pushed over / he flopped at the end of the game by Derek. If you get pushed over by Derek White, that's just doesn't happen, dude. Like if you've pissed off Luke Cornett and you've pissed off Derek White, like this team is like the nicest team in the world, and people used to hold that against him. But like Tatum, I forget who it is on Twitter. I think it's a she on Twitter. She put together like this sitcom music with like Grant and Tatum pregame with the like when they used to warm up for Celtics games. You know, Tatum and Grant always used to be in the corner together, like getting shots up, and they were like do piggyback rides, and it was real wholesome. And then it kind of felt like, I can't believe you do that to Tatum. He's the one guy, dude, that was willing to put up with all your shit.
Yep.
And then Tatum in the post game, because we didn't hear from Tatum after the first game, and I was like, that's another thing. You always hear from Tatum. You can tell Tatum was pissed. And then Jay King asks Tatum after the second game, and Tatum goes, I don't want to talk about it. That's just, I think he's out. I'm not sure. There's got to be a list in between probation, because I think he failed probation. He failed probation, right. But he's just not on. I think he probably gets booed when he comes. Oh my God. And he got booed in his own stadium.
Yeah, that's the best part.
Only Grant, dude. Oh my God.
But like what is so infuriating as well is like you are not helping your team. You're giving up a ton of free throws. You're pissing off this team who is kind of not taking you totally seriously. And that's how you sneak wins against the Celtics. And now you're pissing them off so they're taking you seriously. Like you saw it, man. Like in that fourth quarter of the first game, the C's just steamrolled them at the end of that game, dude. And they the fourth quarter, they totally handled them in game 2 as well. And it's like, what do you like? What is the positive outcome Grant Williams thinks is going to happen when he does all this dumb shit? Like the Celtics are gonna be like, we give up, we forfeit, Grant, you're too tough, us. Man. Yeah, we're done, take the win. Like what? No, you're just gonna give up fouls and piss off a sleeping giant. It's really, really, really fucking stupid. And like, dude, Tatum, yeah, you're right. Like Tatum is probably the one guy that's like, I feel too bad to talk shit about him behind his back when everyone else is like, can you believe Grant said that shit? He's like, come on, man. He's a nice guy. Yeah. He ain't going to be defending him anymore.
Yeah. I think that's it now. I think they were like, we're willing to put up with it. Not anymore. I mean, Jaylen being like, I thought they were friends. I guess not. And especially like saying they, like, and not we. I was like, Jaylen's been done with this guy for a while now, I think.
Yeah, I could see that. All right, well, we got a few things to get to, the revenge against the Keyboard Warriors. But before we do, Prize Picks. Prize Picks is the best place to get real money sports action. With over 10 million members and billions of dollars in awarded winnings, Prize Picks has made daily fantasy sports accessible to all. You just pick more or less on at least 2 players for a shot to win up to 100 times your cash. Run your game all season long on Prize Picks. You can now win up to 100 times your money on Prize Picks with as little as 4 correct picks. Sign up today, get $50 off instantly when you play $5. I wish I could sign up again to get that deal. You don't even need to win to receive the $50 bonus. It's guaranteed. Prize Picks is the best way to win real money this basketball season. Which players are going off, who's not? Make your pick in less than 60 seconds. Turn your sports opinions into real money all season long on Prize Picks. So this week, looking at the board, I don't care what the Jason Tatum point totals are. I'm taking more on those. I hate to do it. He's a Laker. Can't deny Anthony Davis been absolutely balling. Give me more on his rebounds. I think it was 11 last game. And then Giannis, I think we're respecters of Giannis Antetokounmpo on this podcast. So his line, 29.5 points. Give me more on Giannis's points. So download the app today and use code CLNS to get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. Download the app today and use code CLNS to get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. Prize Picks, run your game. All right, Prize Picks, really fun. Check it out, more or less. Take the more Tatum points. It's there. He's crushing it. And whatever Pritchard has, also not high enough. So check his points for more. All right, Jake. Keyboard Warriors.
This is awesome.
Have had a bad couple of days. So this Embiid situation is pretty crazy. Like, we don't do a lot of defending Joel Embiid, but if you haven't heard, some dude, I think, was it Chris Haynes?
No, Marcus Hayes.
Marcus
Sounds like
Hayes.
Haynes.
Yeah, all right, my bad. He wrote an article about Embiid where he invoked his son and his dead brother, and then after that, like a sentence later, essentially made fun of Embiid for not playing and was like, "You don't show up to your job," which is just wildly inappropriate, an insane way to write an article. And today, or last night rather, Embiid confronted him in the locker room and pushed him. So, I mean, truly insane. Like, I don't really blame Joel Embiid for doing that, but just a wild situation. Like, what a mess in Philly, man.
I mean, yeah, only in Philly. Like, I think that's like the schadenfreude takeaway. I think like if you zoom all the way out, it's like it's just only does this stuff keep happening in Philadelphia. Yeah. So I definitely am on Joel Embiid's side here. Like, this whole segment here is like the definition of fuck around and find out.
Yeah.
Like, at some point, dude, and apparently this guy, I was listening to the Rice Ricky Sanchez podcast to get some background on like Marcus Hayes, and he's like classic. He's been covering Philly sports for like 3 decades. Everybody hates him, like always writing like Embiid doesn't care and he doesn't try hard enough and all this kinds of stuff. Like, he's written the same thing over and over again. And if you're going to write about someone's dead brother and be like, essentially they would be disappointed in you because you don't show up to work enough, I'm sorry, dude. You've got to look. You can't put you shouldn't put like violence is never the answer, quote unquote, or whatever. But like, if Embiid's willing to live with the consequences of being suspended, then like you can kind of like do whatever you want. Freedom of speech. Like, I don't condone Embiid beating the shit out of this 60-year-old columnist dude, obviously. But
Yeah.
Hey, man, this guy's 7'2". You're going to see him around and you're going to talk about his dead family member, and like, you just can't do that. And so Embiid shouldn't have pushed him, but I don't really feel bad at all for the reporter, or like, I don't really hold this reaction against Embiid, really, even if it's probably going to end up being detrimental to the team. Like, you just can't do it. And like, I honestly think it might galvanize Philly a little bit as well.
Yeah.
I was like, they might, like, there's gonna be absolutely a fuck Marcus Hayes chant, and Embiid's gonna love it. And then and like, good for them, kind of, honestly.
Yeah, and like, one, where was this dude's editor on that? And
Yeah, oh
two,
my God.
like, it is totally fair to write about Joel Embiid not playing enough. That is an absolutely reasonable criticism.
No doubt.
It's but like, there is no reason at all to bring his dead brother into it, or his kid. Like, that is just so insane. Like, brain meltingly nuts. Like, I don't even know what are you even like thinking when you're writing that, and you reread it and you're like, that's it. There it is. Crushed it. Like, what? So just an absolutely nuts situation. I mean, Embiid was like, if I see you again, I'm going to live with the consequences, which is basically a pretty serious threat, maybe a death threat, which I don't blame him at all. I don't like defending Joel Embiid. I could not be more on Embiid's side here. But go ahead. You got any more on Embiid?
I'm intrigued to see what the punishment is, because they obviously like, this is like, you can't do this. So while I understand the reaction, I'm not really mad at him for it. If there's going to be real consequences, I can't imagine that NBA can allow NBA players to start to go at reporters. It doesn't really matter what he said, essentially, from that perspective, like black and white. You're a lawyer. Like, I'm assuming there's a clause somewhere that says you can't physically intimidate reporters. Like, I don't know, over under in the chat, Adam says 3-game suspension. And how does that factor in with him not playing at the moment? Do they wait to suspend him until he actually plays a game? Because like, otherwise the suspension games aren't going to count because he's not actually playing. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I'm not sure how that all works. But yeah, I mean, it's an assault and battery if you push somebody. Like, there's no damages. but it is technically illegal. It's not worth anybody's time to actually prosecute something like this. But yeah, like you can't do that, especially to reporters. And like, you're right, man. Like the NBA does not want to set a precedent where it's like, it's just a push, like whatever, you know?
They're like, he's right, but you know, whatever.
Yeah. Like they're not going to start litigating the justification of a physical altercation in a locker room. They're just going to suspend him based on the actual altercation, what he did. So, but yeah, I think 3 games probably fair. I don't know though, man. Like they, like off the courts like this to a media member, like I could see them being like 10, 15, just be like, this is absolutely totally unacceptable. Do not even breathe on a reporter, NBA player. So we'll see.
Especially because they've just been fined for the the Phillies just in the bad books with the NBA between the injury misinformation, the Brian Colangelo GM shit. Like Daryl Morey's always lying and being a dickhead, like sending reports to like referee reports. Like it wouldn't shock me if it's double-digit games as a suspension. I wouldn't be surprised. I don't know how to predict this stuff, but it wouldn't surprise me at all if it was like 10.
No, definitely not. Definitely not. Okay, so we should probably move on here as we are running low on time. So article came out today that the Celtics banned Perk from the banner raising following all the bullshit he spewed about the Celtics. Now, I think I saw Perk came out and said that's totally untrue. First of all, how would you know if it's untrue? Like if they're like, we're not inviting that dude, he's banned. Like it's not like they're going to send an email. Mr. Perkins, for your information, do not show up to this thing you're not invited to. So just like extremely petty, and I absolutely love it. It's the best,
awesome,
man. Yeah.
So I'm not sure if Sam LaFrance is the one who like really got this thing going, because Sam tweeted about this. Sounds like Perk wanted to be at Banner Night, but the Celtics didn't want him there. So Perk didn't. So this is the thing. Perk responds to Sam, which is great. Sounds like you're wrong, in capitals. This is completely false. I never had plans on attending Banner Night, and I've never reached out to anyone in the Celtics organization about attending Banner Night. Happy Sunday, and carry the hell on. So what's awesome about that is like, I don't even want to be there. But so here's the thing, Kirk. You didn't actually deny the part about you being banned. You just denied the part about you actually wanting to be there. And so that's the thing I loved about his response. It's like, it's not denying that I'm banned and that they hate me. It's that I actually didn't want to be there. So I'm 100% confident that no one in the organization likes him anymore or hates him. Like, what's the quote? It was like, what did he say? Yeah, the hatchet won't be buried anytime soon, and the respect for him is below zero since those comments, and most of us don't even want to hear about him disrespecting our work and the whole organization. It's awesome. And it's just like, excommunicado, dude. It's just, why have you turned into a fucking clown? And
I don't know, man.
Yeah,
like,
it's awful.
It doesn't make any sense, and it's like you are now lower on the list than Ray Allen, the dude who effectively betrayed us, and went to our biggest rival. And it's like, he's not so bad. This Perk guy sucks, though. You know how you'd know if you weren't banned, Perk? If you got invited. Like, I'm sure they invited all of the 08 team to come, or at least, the main guys. And Perk was a starter on that team, as he likes to remind everyone, because that is the only memorable thing he's done in his entire basketball career. But that get absolutely cooked with Oklahoma City, that one series. But anyway, so Perk, see ya, dude. We are not going to miss him. I imagine this will just continue his stream of bullshit about the Celtics. Like this, do you think this will make it worse? Probably.
Well, what's funny is this season he's actually been like, this is the best team ever. Like he's been very positive, which is like too late, dude. Too late.
Yeah.
Like I don't want to hear people saying this team's the best ever. It's like, there's no reason for you to say that now. Like it's like, that means you're just changing all of your opinions after they won. It's too late. The lines have been crossed. Stay on that side. But this continues. The words online have meaning. You can't just say whatever you want and not face any consequences. Like you can say whatever you want. People are going to react to those words. So it's like, freedom of speech, say whatever you want. But if we don't like what you say, doesn't stop someone from punching you in the face, one, which even if you don't agree with that, if that's how they're going to react, they might react that way, or they might excommunicate you. And the last piece of this is like not basketball related, but Jason Kelce was, I'm not even sure where he was, but he was walking through some tailgate before a game, and I didn't pull the video because there's a dude like with a camera phone right in Kelce's face, and he's calling. He says, "How does it feel for your brother to be and he says uses a slur, and I think he does it multiple times. Like Kelce's like ignoring him, and then Kelce turns around, grabs his phone, and just pegs it at the ground.
Gronk spikes it. Yeah.
Gronk spikes it at the ground, and I think he actually grabs the phone, and then he gets up and is like, "Who's the slur now?" Back to this guy, and it's like he look. Do you agree with how Kelce reacted or not? This you can't treat people like this and expect there to not be a reaction. I think this is like the proliferation of anonymous, people online thinking they can just get away with whatever the fuck they want. And this dude forgot for a second that he was in real life and he was talking to a dude that was literally in the NFL last season. And seeing that moment in real life and Kelce get in this dude's face, I was like, this is awesome, dude. Quintessential fuck around, find out. And then I saw some people like, oh, the lawsuit's probably not going to be worth it. I reckon Kelce's lawyer is going to beat this guy's lawyer in whatever. You're a lawyer. Who wins the battle?
Well, so it's destruction of property, sure. Like, that's it, man. It's like, okay, here's the value of your phone. Goodbye. Yeah. Like, he didn't, as far as I know, he didn't hit him or attack him or hurt him in any way. So, good luck getting emotional damages on something like that, dude. But maybe for all the embarrassment and everyone ripping on you online for how you were acting. But yeah, it's a great point, man. Like, people are getting way too comfortable being complete and utter assholes to other people. So good on Kelce, man. I also heard, I don't know, I saw this on Reddit, so I'm not sure it's true, that Kelce went and then picked up and took the broken phone too with him. Yeah, which is just like hilarious. Like, you're not like there's no chance of you ever having this phone again. I'm gonna take it, even if it is totally broken. But yeah, so man, good. Like, be nice to people. Like, you want to walk up and, somebody famous you want a picture with, you want to like lightly graze their lower back. Nothing weird about that. Totally cool. Like what I did to Joe Mazzulla. Totally not awkward. But like, why are you being a dickhead to him? Because you want a reaction. So Correct. You better not be surprised when you get a reaction from a dude who made his entire career on bashing his skull into 300-pound men. Like, what do you expect him? That's like the least he could do, frankly. Like, he was holding back there, I'm sure. So,
oh yeah,
just a hilarious video, though.
Yeah, it's like I think people forget that Kelce, he's on the Buffalo Wild Wings ads, and he's like this fun guy who likes drinking beer. It's like, nah, dude, if you want to play in the NFL for 20 years, you have to be psychotic and also incredibly powerful. He literally just retired. So, yeah, that's awesome. And like, I'm trying, like, I'm like, are we being hypocritical? We just talked kind of shit about Grant Williams, but these are like, I feel like we're not talking about being like the things we've said about Kyrie, the things we've just said about Grant Williams. I would say that to Grant's face, dude. I'm like, bro, what are you doing?
What did the Celtics do to provoke Grant Williams? Yeah. Like, if Tatum was like elbowing him all game and he reacted like that, I'd be like, yeah, Tatum kind of got what you were asking for, man. If you're clapping him with your elbow 4 times earlier in the game, like, they didn't do anything and Grant just flew off the handle. So like, I think that's the key difference here is like, these dudes were being complete and utter assholes and the other person, Embiid, Kelce, reacted, whereas Grant was the dude trying to get the reaction, and the Celtics just swatted him away like a little fly until he couldn't take it anymore and had to tackle Jason Tatum. So,
yeah, anyway. If Kyrie didn't screw us all over, then we wouldn't be mean to him. But it's
right, exactly, yeah. I'm signing here the rest of my career, or whatever the hell he said. Whatever. Good riddance, dude.
If you'll have me.
Yeah, if you'll have me. Yeah. Oh, so humble, so humble.
Yeah.
All right, before we get out of here, really quick, playing Atlanta next, and then Golden State. Atlanta 2-4, kind of looked like shit. Yeah. Simmons was extremely confident in them going over their over/under, so kind of hilarious.
So was I.
Yeah, I don't remember what I picked for them, but surely it's over if they go under. But I think Atlanta's always tough because Trae Young is difficult to switch on. The Celtics at least want to switch 1 through 4. Horford will probably play, which certainly helps things. They draw a lot of fouls, and they have yet again, for as long as I can remember, an absolutely dreadful defense, 26th ranked defense. And then Golden State's looked awesome. 10th ranked offense, 2nd ranked defense. Their defense is nuts. Looney is still playing really well defensively. It's pretty annoying. And Draymond's Draymond. And Curry will probably be back for our game. So what do you got, Atlanta, Golden State?
Well, so we get Atlanta on a back-to-back. They are currently playing against the
sweet.
Pelicans as we speak right now. And they're smoking them. They are 5 minutes to go. They're up like 20. And they've got pretty much all their guys healthy, I think, outside of Kongwu. I'm looking at the box score right now. And so Dyson Daniels back. I'm kind of excited for this game. I watched their first couple of games and I was like, ooh, kind of like the Hawks. I watched them against the Thunder. Risa Shea, Dyson, and Jalen Johnson have like this weird wing trio. They're like the wing triplets that all kind of do things a little bit differently. But I think that they're absolutely capable of giving you a game. So you've got to be relatively serious. Trae Young, 17 and 12 assists tonight. Jalen Johnson, 11 for 19, 27 points, 6 rebounds, 8 assists, 2 steals, 2 blocks.
He's a beast, man.
So
he's a beast.
Pretty legit. And granted, they're playing the Pelicans without Zion Williamson and without CJ McCollum. So they're literally starting Javonte Green, Jose Alvarado, Jordan Hawkins. Brandon Boston Jr. has played 26 minutes tonight. So that doesn't really say a ton about their performance tonight against the Pelicans. But look, the lines can probably going to be Celtics minus 11.5. They're going to be favored by double digits as per usual. They should kind of roll. The Hawks can't get stops. But if you don't play defense again, then you're going to give them a chance to stay in the game until like mid-third quarter, and you're going to have to tighten the screws at some point.
Yeah, Atlanta is a legitimate NBA team. They have enough talent. They got a lot of wings, man, because we didn't even mention Hunter and Bogey either.
Yep.
So, like, they've got a solid, talented team.
Bogdanovich has been injured to start the year,
Yeah.
so he's not out in yet, but yeah.
Yeah, but so they're just a solid, legitimate NBA team. They have a play style. Like, their offense hasn't really clicked yet this year, but like Trae can get them going, and if they're hitting their shots, like they're a really tough team to cover. So yeah, you got to bring it. But I would say I think we probably beat Atlanta. I think Golden State's the game I see us losing out of these two for sure.
Hopefully not. It's the fuck Steve Kerr game. So we'll see if Steph Curry's back yet, because
that's the big thing.
Yeah. So hopefully not. It would be my take on it. I don't really want to. I just give me the free wins. Like, I would just prefer to keep stacking the W's. I don't really care about proving anything. So give me. Hopefully Steph Curry's out for 2 more games. There'd be no reason for him to rush back, especially because they've actually gotten off to a really good start. They've looked good, man, and like. Little PTSD for me, like of teams in the West, no one's really looked that impressive outside of OKC. Like if the Warriors can kind of get a little more synergy, Draymond Green has promised to only get 10 technicals this year. We'll see how that goes. And Steph's obviously already gotten injured and he's 37 years old, so we'll see how long he can sustain. But
fucking Buddy Hield, dude. He is not missing. He's
like 60%
for them.
It's crazy.
It's insane for them. Had another 27 last night. So Golden State's really good. And yeah, I'm with you. Like it's probably Denver. I don't know, man. This version of Denver, I think, would probably destroy. Yeah. Like Jokic isn't enough. Golden State might be number 1 out west. Them in Oklahoma City, who I wouldn't want to see in the finals. They terrify me. It's pure PTSD, but they're looking really, really good. Pods is solid. They got a deep team, but that should be a great game. And yeah, the fuck Steve Kerr game, man. We need it. We gotta have it, dude.
Jason, don't try and do it with pull-up threes. No. Or if you'll come around the screens, just watch film of the Knicks game, come around the screens, target Buddy Hield, and pull up from there. And be careful about challenging Draymond Green too often. I feel like he's learned his lesson from the 2022 finals. Just
Yeah.
Hopefully Steve Kerr tries like the leave someone wide open from 3 strategy again, and we win by 50.
That would be ideal. I would really appreciate that. All right, we've been 70 minutes here, so we should probably wrap it up. Jake, that was fun, dude. As always, we'll be out probably Patreon pod. Are you doing late night after tomorrow night's game?
So tomorrow night we'll got the playback stream. We'll do instant reactions, and we got late night tomorrow. Back at it tomorrow.
Yeah, and then Patreon Tuesday night. So we are out. Peace.